All right, hello, your boy Gomi is back. We are back with UFC 283. Glover Teixeira versus Jamahal and Figueiredo versus Moreno 4. Not a very hype-ish card, but hype nonetheless, just because UFC pay-per-view is back, the first pay-per-view of the year. And honestly, it does have some low-key good fights, just some weird ones. But yes, let's get into it with the first fight on the card. The title fight for the vacant light heavyweight title. Glover Teixeira versus Jamahal Sweet Dreams Hill. Now, this is a weird one. I like Jamahal Hill. I do enjoy his fights, I'm not gonna lie. And old man Glover is very inspiring. Being able to go at the tender young age of 43 years old and still be a top-ranked opponent. But it's just weird. They just really heavily slighted Magomed and Jan Blachowicz. They just did them dirty. Dana White, you can tell, was very upset and rushed this out. And honestly, Jamahal Hill, while I'm be honest with you, he's pretty battle-tested. He's got some good names under his belt. I still think it might have been a little bit too soon for him. Gave him one more fight, and then, yeah, we could put him in title contention. But, oh well, he's here. He's being thrown to the wolves. Glover Teixeira, despite seeming like one, is no easy task. So let's get right into it. Glover Teixeira, he's going to be 43 years of age, a record of 38 wins and 8 losses, 18 knockouts, 10 submissions, 6'2" in terms of height, with an orthodox stance, 76-inch reach disadvantage, a 2.20 takedown average, a 60.18% significant strike accuracy, and he is at a plus 105 underdog. Impressive. I'm surprised people are listing him as the underdog. That might be a good prop to get some money, I'm not gonna lie. He has some significant wins over Jan Blachowicz, Thiago Santos, Anthony Smith, Ian Cutelaba, and I just capped it off at 4 because Glover's been around for a while, because he also has wins over Nikita Krylov. He has wins over Robertson. There's another one I want to mention. Cannonier. Jared Cannonier is another person he has wins over. So very, very good record, honestly. But let's get into Glover's kind of issues with him. What's the issue with Glover? First and foremost, his significant strike defense. Glover's defense is making sure his opponent is on the ground. He is taking them down. 20 takedowns landed out of 95 is pretty good. He takes most of his opponents down and he beats them up with ground and pound, or he submits them. There's a lot of ground and pound fighters in the UFC, but the thing is, those ground and pound fighters, they don't have a lot of submission threat. Glover is different. He will ground and pound you. You will give up your back to try and post up, and he will submit you like nothing. But his significant strike defense is not all there. Whenever you start pressuring him and he starts getting hit pretty hard, he has a very poor defensive kind of tick in which he just tries to hand fight. He tries to grab your hands and hand fight. We saw this against Yuri Prohaska. We saw this in his fight against Ian Cutelaba. He does this. Oh, his fight against Corey Anderson too. He tries to hand fight. And that's a bad thing. Israel Adesanya did that in his fight against Alex Pereira, but he did that because his leg was shot from that checked kick. Glover just does it, even if his legs are fine and it's a really bad tick. If he gets rocked a little bit, he starts trying to hand fight instead of doing what he should be doing, shelling up and moving side to side, trying to confuse the opponent and get out of their line of sight. This is something Jamahal Hill can absolutely capitalize on, because it's something he did to Thiago Santos. Thiago Santos briefly tried to hand fight in their fight against him. Jamahal Hill started lighting him up, but then Thiago Santos turned it into a bar fight, as his coaches kept screaming not to do, and Jamahal Hill ended up winning that exchange because he was far better with the bar fighting. Now then, Glover Teixeira, what's his easy avenue to victory? Well, we've seen it with one of Jamahal Hill's only loss. His only loss in his career was to the Bear Jew, Paul Craig. Yes. So in that, I'm sure a lot of you probably remember that fight. That's the one where he got his arm broken. Yeah, or dislocated. That's the thing. Paul Craig, he's scary. He's a scary man when you get him on the ground. But if you don't get him on the ground, he tries to force you on the ground, and it doesn't work very well, honestly. But he managed to get Jamahal Hill to the ground, and he managed to inflict serious damage to him. That is absolutely something that Glover Teixeira can do, being a submission master like he is. That's something Jamahal Hill needs to worry about. I see and also keep in mind too, Glover has no problem swinging and banging. He has no problems trading. He did this multiple times. He did against Kutelava. He did against Jiří Procházka, and he started to damage Jiří Procházka in the end. I could see him hurting Jamahal Hill, and then I could see him just then shooting for a takedown or level change and getting him on the ground, and I could see him submitting him. That is something very likely, and I'm surprised. I'm surprised people have him as an underdog. Yes, Glover is old, and yes, Glover has been on the bad end of some knockouts. Like I talk about Jamahal Hill and his famous arm break. Don't forget the famous combo that Gustafsson did against Glover Teixeira with a triple uppercut. Another example of him going to hand fight instead of moving out of the way, because he just kept trying to reach for his hands. So Gustafsson's just uppercut. The second Glover decided, okay, maybe I'm going to step back. All right, lead and hook, and that took him out. Glover can still stand and bang, though. He still can. And he can take him down, and he can submit Jamahal Hill. That is absolutely something that could happen. But Glover Teixeira can get smashed. He can get lulled into that brawl, and he can get hit. I know his chin is refreshed. I know he's a tough guy, and he took some serious shots from Jiří Procházka, who one-shot KO'd Volkan Oezdemir. He can still get knocked out by Sweet Dreams Jamahal Hill. Jamahal Hill has been on a tear recently with some really good knockouts. Johnny Walker, granted no chin Johnny Walker, Jimmy Crute, OSP, and Thiago Santos all felt the massive amount of power that Jamahal Hill has. Some of these shots, like the shot he landed on Johnny Walker, was not even that clean. It it was not that clean because of poor technique. It was just not that clean because he got him at a weird angle that still just flatlined him. Don't forget the follow-up where he came with a jaw shot and a shoulder shot. Also, I want to mention too, Jamahal Hill is actually pretty good in the clinch. I know Glover is going to try and get him in the clinch to take him down with trips, but Jamahal Hill has proven to have pretty good takedown defense and pretty good clinch knees. He had some good knees against Thiago Santos, and Thiago Santos really tried to get that fight to the ground. And even when he did get the fight to the ground, Jamahal Hill had excellent urgency, and he really worked his way back up. But also, Thiago Santos, ever since he became No Knee Santos from his fight against John Jones, it's not the same, and he really tries to wrestle too much now. He forgets what got him to where he was in the first place with those 15 knockouts. It's not your submission game, it's your knockout game. So I think Glover Teixeira is going to be a lot harder in that aspect. I like Jamahal Hill. I'm going to root for him, but I think Glover is going to take it. I'm going to lean more towards him just because of the wrestling, just because of the jiu-jitsu, and I could see him taking down Jamahal Hill, having a better time at than Thiago Santos did. I don't think he's going to knock him out. I don't think his ground and pound game is going to be enough for Jamahal Hill, but I think Jamahal Hill is going to make one slight mistake that will lead to Glover Teixeira getting that submission. Regardless, should be a good fight, actually. Should be a fun fight, and I'm just excited for it. But God, how funny would that be if it's a draw again? It's a draw and it's vacant again, or Glover Teixeira gets the title and just vacates, or Glover Teixeira wins and breaks something and can't defend. Please, I just want to see Dana pissed. That'd be so funny. But regardless, be on the lookout for more videos. Let me know who you think is going to win this fight, and let me know what fight you're most excited for on the card. This has been your boy Gomi. Bye-bye.